my wife.
Dear friends, the wedding at Cana is one of my favorites. Not only because it is the first of Jesus' miracles or signs, as St. John calls it, but also because it reveals Jesus as my bridegroom. This mystery is full of symbolism, which is the hallmark of St. John. Anointed as king at baptism, Jesus in this mystery begins to manifest his power over creation and to reign over creation as the Lord of all. At the behest of his mother, Jesus works his first miracle at Cana. Jesus and Mary, the new Adam and the new Eve, restore creation to its original blessing, original innocence, or relationship of love. This wedding feast prefigures the eternal wedding banquet of the Lamb. As we listen to the text, let us ask for the grace to trust and obey Jesus and Mary, that they may transform us into the best wine, into a flame of love, that our families or communities may be filled with the joy of love.
On the third day, a wedding took place at Cana in Galilee. Jesus' mother was there, and Jesus and his disciples had also been invited to the wedding. When the wine was gone, Jesus' mother said to him, "They have no more wine." "Woman, why do you involve me?" Jesus replied, "My hour has not yet come." His mother said to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." Nearby stood 6 stone water jars, the kind used by the Jews for ceremonial washing, each holding from 80 to 120 liters. Jesus said to the servants, "Fill the jars with water." So they filled them to the brim. Then he told them, "Now draw some out and take it to the master of the banquet." They did so. And the master of the banquet tasted the water that had been turned into wine. He did not realize where it had come from, though the servants who had drawn the water knew. Then he called the bridegroom aside and said, "Everyone brings out the choice wine first, and then the cheaper wine after the guests have had too much to drink. But you have saved the best till now." What Jesus did here in Cana of Galilee was the first of the signs through which he revealed his glory, and his disciples believed in him.
Dear friends, we began the retreat with the promise of God who said, "You are precious to me. Remember not the past. I am doing something new. Behold, I make all things new." Jesus in this mystery is beginning the work of making all things new. He will begin today in a very special way to make you entirely new, to transform you entirely into pure and perfect love as you pray this decade. Because nothing is impossible for God.
This is such a simple and beautiful story of grace. There is a wedding feast, and they've run out of wine, and all they had left was water, but it was enough for God to work a miracle. That is all that God really needs to work miracles if we make the little that we have available to him. There are many things that we might want to do but cannot, because it is beyond the power of human nature. However, if God intervenes, he can make the impossible possible. Doesn't Jesus say, "With God all things are possible"?
Let us make an act of complete surrender of our whole being to him, saying, "Jesus, I have no wine. I have no love in me, no joy, no peace. Jesus, I surrender myself to you. Please take care of everything. Jesus, I trust in you."
When we bring our problems to Christ, we may think we know how He should take care of them, but He may have a completely different plan. Like Mary, we should submit and allow Him to deal with the problems as He sees best.
Dear friends, St. John begins the second chapter of his Gospel saying, "On the third day there was a wedding." The third day reminds us of the third day when Jesus would rise again. "Behold, I am alive, and I make all things new." We also notice the passing of days mentioned at the beginning of John's Gospel. He begins the Gospel saying, "In the beginning was the Word." John 1:1. That is day 1. In John 1:29, he says, "The next day." That's day 2. In John 1:35, he says, "The next day." Day number 3. In John 1:43, the next day. Day number 4. Then we skip to the third day, there was a wedding. That is the 7th day. John is setting up the first 7 days of the new creation in Jesus Christ. Just as in Genesis, on the 7th day there was a wedding in Eden between Adam and Eve, in the New Testament on the 7th day there is a wedding at Cana in Galilee. And who were there? The mother of Jesus was there. Jesus also was invited to the marriage. Jesus and Mary, the new Adam and the new Eve, representing the marriage of God and creation. That is why Jesus would later call Mary woman, to show the fulfillment of the prophecy from Genesis that Mary is the new Eve. St. Paul would confirm this mystery that Jesus is coming to renew the whole creation. He says, "The creation itself will be set free from its bondage to decay and brought into the freedom and glory of the children of God." Romans 8:21. The 6 stone jars present there also signify the 6 days of creation. And the servants would fill these jars to the brim, bringing the entire creation to the Lordship of Christ, says St. Ephraim. The mother of Jesus said, "They have no wine." Dear friends, after original sin, relationship with God, others, self, and nature is destroyed. There is no love. They have no wine. And Jesus, the Messiah, is coming to restore love. "Behold, I make all things new." Let's pause a moment to examine our soul. Where have I run out of wine, love in my relationships? In my life of service, do I resemble Mary in her love, charity, sensitivity to the plight of the needy? When the wine ran short, our Blessed Mother does not take to condemning the couple or criticizing the family. Instead, she takes to compassion, to charity. She takes initiative to improve the quality of life around. This is what Pope Francis invites us to do in his encyclical, The Joy of Love, on love in the family. He says that the welfare of the family is decisive for the future of the world and that of the church. Countless studies have been made of marriage and the family, their current problems and challenges. They have no wine. The grace of the sacrament of marriage is intended before all else to perfect the couple's love. In marriage, the joy of love needs to be cultivated.
Questo incontro ci sfida a non dare niente e nessuno per perduto, ma a cercare a rinnovare la speranza di sapere che Dio continua ad agire all'interno delle nostre famiglie. Ci sfida a non abbandonare nessuno perché non è all'altezza di quanto si chiede da Lui. E questo ci impone di uscire dalle dichiarazioni di principio per addentrarci nel cuore palpitante dei quartieri romani e come artigiani metterci a plasmare in questa realtà il sogno di Dio. Non si tratta di non proporre l'ideale evangelico, no? Non si tratta di questo. Al contrario, ci invita a viverlo all'interno della storia, con tutto ciò che comporta. E questo non significa non essere chiari nella dottrina, ma evitare cadere in giudizi e atteggiamenti che non assumono la complessità della vita. Il realismo evangelico si sporca le mani perché sa che grano e zizzania crescono assieme. E il miglior grano in questa vita sarà sempre mescolato con un po' di zizzania.
St. Paul also prays, "May the Lord make you increase and abound in love to one another." And again, concerning fraternal love, we urge you, beloved, to do so more and more. Speaking to a mystic about this miracle, Jesus says, "Always remember that my first miracle happened because of Mary." The very first one. It is a symbol that Mary is the key to miracles. Mary is the key to miracles. I never refuse my mother anything, and because of her prayer, I bring forward also the time of grace. Besides, I wanted to make her power known to the world together with mine. Since she was destined to be joined to me in the flesh, it was fair she should be joined to me in the power that is shown to the world, because we are one flesh. And Vatican II in Lumen Gentium, Article 62 declares, "Therefore the Blessed Virgin is invoked by the Church under the titles of Advocate, Auxiliatrix, Mediatrix." This, however, is to be so understood that it neither takes away from nor adds anything to the dignity and efficaciousness of Christ, the one Redeemer. Today, as we pray this decade, let us also practice the art of surrendering to Mary our difficulties, our problems. Let us ask Our Lady to restore broken marriages and bless Christian families. Let us particularly bring to Mary our own inability to love. Bring to her the sin that has been dragging you down. Maybe coldness, indifference, maybe impatience, impurity, gluttony, sloth, envy. Let us beg Our Lady's intercession to change the water of our coldness, indifference, into splendid new wine of profound, ardent charity. For she is the undoer of all knots.
Holy Mary, who unties the 7 knots, full of the presence of God during your life, you accepted with great humility the holy will of the Father and the legacy of your Son, our Lord Jesus Christ. Evil never dared to entangle you. Together with your Son, you interceded for our difficulties, and with simplicity and patience, you have taught us how to undo the knots that entangled our lives. By being our mother, you smooth and make clear the ties that unite us to our Lord. Cover us with your protective mantle, and permit us to experience in your loving and maternal protection peace, harmony, and purity. In our temptation, protect us. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, a world without end. Amen. In our sin, deliver us. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, a world without end. Amen. In our distress, succor us. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, a world without end. Amen. In our sorrow, comfort us. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, a world without end. Amen. In our fear, encourage us. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, a world without end. Amen. In our illness, alleviate us. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, a world without end. Amen. In our weakness, strengthen us. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, a world without end. Amen. Holy Mary, Mother of God and ours, with your maternal heart, undo the knots that entangle our lives. We ask you to receive in your hands and liberate us from these entanglements. Blessed Virgin Mary, through your grace, your intercession, and your example, deliver us from evil and untie the knots that obstruct our unity with God, so that we may find him in all things, have him in our hearts, and serve him always. Amen.
I think of Mary as constantly living with mystery. In other words, she may not have fully grasped the full implications of where life was leading her. She just kept repeating her yes, and then she left the rest to God. This was her prayer from the time of the Annunciation on the road to Egypt, at Cana, and on Calvary. She simply did what God told her to do, and her advice to us was as simple: do whatever He tells you. I remember the early years after I returned to God. I was like a rocket being shot out into space, hurtling forward at tremendous speed. People marveled at how quickly I was growing spiritually, but there was no mystery to it. It was simply obedience and trust on my part. I showed my willingness to fly, and God provided the rocket fuel. That's how it works. Original sin was one of disobedience, and total obedience is the only antidote for that. Jesus would later say, "If you love me, you will keep my commandments, and I will ask the Father, and He will give you another counselor to be with you forever." If we love God, we will obey Him. We will provide the water, and God will turn that water into wine. So, do whatever He tells you today. God bless you.
Holy Mother Mary, take this ribbon of my life. It's full of knots of pain and brokenness. Your graceful fingers filled with love undo them all, bringing peace and healing. Curled and twisted into something I can't recognize. The more I try, the worse they seem to be. Please undo the knots I've tied, and those of whom I love. In your hands there is no knot that cannot be undone. Tangled in this ribbon are the sins of moments past, sins of pride and doubt, fear and regret. Times when I've chosen to reject the call of Christ and lived by my desires instead. Curled and twisted into something I can't recognize. The more I try, the worse they seem to be. Please undo the knots I've tied, and those of whom I love. In your hands there is no knot that cannot be undone. You are known by many names: Virgin Mother, Queen, Morning Star, O Blessed One,